Okay guys, let's grab some dumbbells for the next bunch of exercises. Now the other thing I want you guys to do is grab yourselves either a flat bench or a multi-fold mat to create some elevation for these exercises. Bending forward with bent knees and neutral spine for some piston rows. Now, you want to make sure you're pumping these out with your elbows tucked in by your side. You can see my feet are parallel, knees are right over the top, and I'm sustaining my back. Let's get you guys to do the same. Squat with a front swing for this exercise. So you can see my arms are dropping down as I drop down into the squat, and I'm swinging up with soft straight arms. It's going just marginally past my shoulders, not too much higher because we don't want to put pressure on the rotator cuffs. Let's get you guys to have a go at this one. Unilateral neutral grip presses for this one. So I'm going to hold one side up and I'm going to do my repetitions on one side only, just making sure that my elbows are tucked in and I'm just drawing some parallel lines at the top of it. Now, when I finish hitting it with my right, I'm going to do a set with my left, and then I'm going to finish it up by doing a bilateral set, doing both sides together. Your turn to try this one. dumbbell chest press for this exercise. So you want to make sure you start off with your lower back pinned right up against the bench. So you want to make sure it doesn't arch up. And then you're going to bring your arms down nice and wide. Elbow to elbow should be a straight line. And then you're going to press up in a nice vertical thrust. Very important to have control over your movement. Your turn to try it. Let's go. Bent over unilateral rows for this one. So you can see I'm holding one of my arms right up at my ribs in that finishing position of the rows, and then I'm just doing my reps with my other arm. Now we want to make sure that your elbows are relatively well tucked in and it's just a straight up and down motion. Once you finish this set, switch hands and do the other side as well. Your turn to try it. Single arm row, nicely supported by the bench for this one. So very important, just release the dumbbell until your arms nice and straight, and then when you pull it up, you want to pull towards your rib cage with your elbows tucked in. Keep your wrists nice and straight and keep your spine neutral as well. Both sides, your turn. For this exercise, we're going to work some shoulder presses, but we're going to do them unilateral. We're going to do them one side at a time. So you can see that I'm pressing with my right arm while the left arm is remaining static. And when we finish the set, we're going to switch it up and work the other side. Now, make sure there's no rotation of the wrists and keep your knees slightly bent in order to protect your back. And let's go from there. Your turn. seated shoulder press for this exercise, but this is a little bit different. So you can see that it starts with a neutral hand position with your elbows tucked in, and as you lift, it rotates and looks more like a traditional shoulder press for this one. Make sure your spine remains nice and neutral, keep your chest proud, and protect your back through this exercise. Your turn. Nice difficult variation of some biceps curls. So you can see that I'm holding one side isometric in that contracted position, and I'm just working on the other side. So just the right arm doing all the repetitions. At the end of the set, I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to hold isometric with my right side and get the left to do the reps. Your turn to try this one. concentration curls. Now this is a great biceps isolation. So you can see I've got my elbow inside of my thigh and supported, and all I'm doing is just pumping out some biceps curls perpendicular to my leg. So I'm going to hit one side and then I'm going to hit the other side as well. Your turn. Isometric hammer curl for this exercise. So really important to start with your feet at shoulder width and make sure your knees are bent and your hip is pushing marginally back so that you're not pressuring your spine. Now you want to make sure that your elbows are tucked in and neutral grip hand position, and let's maintain for the next 45 seconds. Unilateral skull crushers for this exercise. So very important to start off with that neutral hand position, just drawing a pair of parallel lines with your arms, and then we're going to hit the skull crushers on one side, making sure you're minimizing any movement in your elbow, and then we're going to hit the other side as well. Then we're going to finish off by doing a bilateral set, so doing both sides at the same time. Your turn to try it. triceps kickback. So you want to make sure for this one, you pull up a row first, so your elbow's nice and high, and then that's your starting position. And then from that point, your elbow doesn't move anymore. So all it is an extension behind you. Make sure you're using the bench for support. Make sure there's a slight bend in your knees and your back's protected through this exercise as well. Your turn to try it. Overhead triceps extension with a single dumbbell. So seated on your bench with a neutral spine, and you want to make sure your legs are wide enough apart to give you a nice sturdy base. Then we're going to go overhead and we're going to start to work these triceps extensions with your elbows tucked in by your ears and just lifting straight up. Your turn to try this one. traditional lateral raise for this exercise. So seated on the bench with a neutral spine, nice sturdy base, and we're just lifting into these lateral delts raises with your wrists nice and straight and perfectly lateral movement. Now we're just going to go slightly above shoulder height, and we're going to stop there, and then we're going to return at the negative nice and slow. Your turn to try this one. Bent over lateral raise for this exercise. So we really want to emphasize your posterior deltoids as well as your traps and your rhomboids as well. Just looking forward on this one and trying to push up with soft straight arms throughout this exercise. Your turn. Well done for getting through your workout today, guys. Let's take a moment to stretch and cool our body back down now. Comment and let us know what you thought of today's workout, and remember to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all the latest workouts.